lot easier than getting punched in the face.
That it is. I'm Chad from Chad Talk Sports. Today I'm here with UFC Hall of Famer and Hollywood legend Randy Couture.
How are you, buddy?
Good, how about you?
I'm doing good. Great day to be back up in the Pacific Northwest,
yes,
my old stomping grounds, out here at the Evergreen State Fairgrounds for the Xtreme Couture GI Foundation at our second annual motorcycle poker run up here, and it went really well. Great turnout, great day, great weather, no rain.
Yeah.
All good stuff.
So talk about your Xtreme Couture thing. How did you get all of that started?
Well, I served in the United States Army from 1982 to 1988. Big part of my life, 19 to 25 years old, pretty formative time for me. I think I look at the world in a particular way because of that. And now I'm in a little bit different stage in my life. After some success in fighting and athletics, I get a chance to get back to those guys, especially since 9/11. They've been putting their butts on the line, getting wounded, getting injured in combat, struggling with the things they trained and saw in combat as well. So try and find a way to get back to those guys that took that same oath that I took at 19 years old and help them get through some of those trials and tribulations.
And then with just a year ago, you turned your company Xtreme Couture over to your son. What was that feeling like?
Yeah, I turned the gym over to Ryan. Ryan fought for 12 years, mostly in Bellator Fighting Championship. You know, he left a good job at the bank after he graduated from Western Washington University with a degree in math. Come down and help me run the gym. He wasn't there very long. He's like, "Dad, I really want to fight." I'm like, "Oh man." So I had to hire a new gym manager and let him go about training and doing the things he needed to do to be prepared for fights. And he had 7 amateur fights. I think he had 16 or 17 professional fights. He did a great job. It was finally time for him to start a family. So he got married 4 or 5 years ago. And just a year ago, they had their first baby. So it was time for him to retire from fighting. And I thought, man, I've been doing this for a long time, running this gym. Why not hand it off to my son, let him run it? Fresh eyes, fresh perspective, young, invigorated energy. So I think it worked out. He's done a great job, and he's a very, very smart young man. So I'm happy to hand that off to him.
And then with your fighting career, you've been the underdog every single fight, almost every single fight you've gone into. What kind of mentality did that give you for your fighting career?
It's actually a good place to be in the underdog position. There's no pressure. Nobody expects you to win. So you can just train hard, go out and do what you know you're capable of without that expectation and that burden of letting people down or having that expectation on your shoulders. So it's actually a pretty comfortable place to be. I seem to flourish in that underdog spot. So it never bothered me. I think they always counted me out because I was older. I didn't start fighting till I was 33, almost 34. And by most people's idea, that was already over the hill. So, and I fought till I was 47. Certainly stretched out my career to 14 years. You know, I think the average for mixed martial artists is about 6 or 7 years. So very, very fortunate. Didn't sustain any major injuries that kept me out for very long, and allowed me to stay in there and build a brand and have a good career.
What would you say is your favorite of the 6 UFC championships that you have?
I think coming out of retirement after 13 months and fighting Tim Sylvia at 6'8", we looked like Mutt and Jeff in that cage. And Tim was a friend, but I had a pretty good confidence that I could technically beat him. Put together a game plan and got about taking him on. I think it was 44 when I fought that fight, and most people thought I was crazy coming out of retirement to fight a guy that size at my age. I'm kind of glad. It's the closest I probably ever came to that one-punch knockout. I hit him in that first 20, 25 seconds, and he fell down. I think it surprised me as much as it surprised everybody in the arena. But I'm glad it went the all five rounds, and it was a dominant performance. I think that answered a lot of the questions about my age and my sanity.
Then after that, you moved on to Hollywood. What was that experience like, getting to do a completely new project?
It was interesting. It's not something I'd ever done before. I think I was in a 6th grade school play, but that was the extent of it, honestly. First movie for me was in the early 2000s. It was called Cradle to the Grave with DMX and Jet Li. Had one fight scene in that movie. They wanted authentic cage fighters for this underground fight scene in the movie. So me, Chuck, and Tito all played in that movie. I had one line. Probably can't say it on this. has a swear word in it. But I was immediately intrigued by the process. It was like going to Oz and pulling back the curtain and seeing the guy pulling the levers, making all the smoke and fire. The process, I mean, for that one little scene, about 5 minutes, it took us 7 days, 13, 14-hour days of filming to get that one little scene. So it was a really interesting, intriguing process. And I've spent my whole life as an athlete, since the time I was 10, playing soccer, you know, boxing up my emotions, putting them to the side and staying laser focused on the task at hand, which was beating that other team or that other guy. And now in acting, they want you to let all that stuff out, which is a bit strange, honestly. But it's a process for sure. I respect the process. I enjoy the process. It's been fun, you know, from Cradle to the Grave to Scorpion King 2, and then the Expendables. The jobs kept getting better and bigger and a lot more fun. So I'm having a blast acting. I've had a very busy last year. I did 5 movies last year in 2021. I've already done 1 movie this year in 2022, so definitely taken off. Now that I've retired from fighting in 2011, I can focus solely on chasing acting jobs and getting more jobs and getting better jobs. So it's fun. I'm enjoying it. A lot easier than getting punched in the face.
That it is. Thanks for coming out, and Randy Couture.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Keep it, brother.